Spinal rotation is a challenging pattern for most students to understand and to execute properly. At level 1, we don't see too many spinal extension or spinal rotation exercises. We have it in combination with the saw, so we have rotation in that exercise, and we have also the stomach massage twist. When we introduce spinal rotation, we need to understand what it's about. And ideally, it should start from the low spine and like a barbershop pole, move up through the head. The spine has to be correctly set up. So what you want to look for in your extension patterns is the head is over the shoulders are over the ribs are over the pelvis is in neutral. So everything is stacked right up here in a long line. Whenever we want to execute a rotation, it's important that we have a strong lift through the entire spine with the abdominals. This is because when we rotate the spine, there's a compression force. And so we want to avoid the compression, hence the uplift of the spine. To do a rotation, we pull back on one side, then we move the thoracic spine, we move up through the shoulders, and finally the head and eyes finish the pattern, keeping that straight spine extension. And then to return, we reverse the pattern and bring the body around. Common errors really happen with the setup. So students slouching back or being in an anterior tilt of the spine, which will pinch it. You'll also see students initiate the pattern up high, so they'll pull an arm back or pull the shoulder back and substitute actually the movement up here for what should be a spinal rotation. Now we want our students to be able to do this correctly. And so what are some solutions? Well, one is to part teach rotation. So for instance, when we're teaching the saw, rather than jumping into combining it into the flexion, we can have the student go knuckle to knuckle, and then really put the fist right into the breastbone. They lift up, and now, keeping the arms centered here and the hands in place, the rotation has to move through the right. They can't substitute the pattern. Another thing that you can do is make sure that the head stays lifted so that it doesn't pivot around independently and come into place. So you want to make sure that the twisting portion of an exercise is mastered before we throw it in. Now, key concepts that are in place on a twist are making sure the student is anchored and perched, because out of that foundation comes the lift of the abs in and up. The box comes into play here because as we rotate, go ahead and rotate, we want to continue to have this nice square shoulder box with an openness across the chest. The body is anchored, and what often happens is that as the student rotates, one knee or heel will slide forward and they've lost the box at the pelvis. So a solution for that can be simply to give them a pillow or your fist, activating the inner thighs in the perch, and then that helps them to maintain the connection of the pelvis upward. Cues to use, right? Twist from low to high. Twist up through the top of the head. Twist around like a corkscrew. Hold the pelvis level and twist the spine. All those cues will help. To touch with the twist, you want to make sure that you guide the pelvis into the place. You can help keep the waist lengthened on both sides. You can give a move into touch up at the top of the head. And if they're rib popping, you can pull one rib back as you guide the twist forward. So that's how to improve spinal rotation.